Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. BJP romps home, winning historic third straight term in Haryana. J&K gives a mandate to the National Conference and Congress combine. Prime Minister Modi hails Haryana win, says J&K verdict is a victory for India's constitution. President Draupadi Murmu confers the prestigious National Film Awards for the Best of Indian Cinema in 2022. Actor Mithun Chakrabarti receives the pinnacle Dada Saheb Phalke Lifetime Achievement Award. Tensions simmer in West Asia. Israel continues its operations in Gaza on the pretext of not allowing Hamas to regroup. EU calls for a ceasefire. The Russian President Vladimir Putin hosts leaders of ex-Soviet republics for the Commonwealth of Independent States Summit in Moscow. Trade and cooperation are on the agenda. Geoffrey Hinton and John Hopfield win the Nobel Prize for Physics for their foundational work that's enabled machine learning and artificial intelligence. A wave of celebrations is sweeping across Haryana as the BJP won a historic hat-trick in the state. Party workers were seen jumping for joy, and DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj sent us this report when the BJP had just crossed the halfway mark, catching the overall sentiment.
Excitement. And why not? I am in the CM Haryana house today, and the sweets are being offered to people already. Because the Bharatiya Janata Party is all set to form its government for the third consecutive time in the state.
Vibrant celebrations have erupted across the state, with BJP supporters bursting into chants and jubilation as the party is all set to form government after the third consecutive win in Haryana.
ये कालका के लोगों की जीत है और मैं उनको बधाई देना चाहती हूँ। ये चुनाव उन्होंने खुद लड़ा है और उन्हीं की जीत हुई है। देखिए जनता है, सोच समझ के जवाब देती है।
The counting process, which started early at 8 a.m. on October 8, following the October 5 elections, has been a closely watched affair throughout the day.
बहुत ज़्यादा निराशा हुई है। आप सब वर्कर्स को देखिए, इतने समय से ये लगे हुए थे। ऐसे समय में जब कोई खड़ा होता नहीं नज़र आता था, राहुल जी का संदेश लेकर हम गांव-गांव ठंड में, कड़ाके की ठंड में, कड़कती धूप में, सब जगह हमारे वर्कर फैले, एक संदेश लेकर गए, मेहनत की ज़मीन पर। लेकिन आज जब ऐसा नतीजा आता है, इनकी मेहनत पर, इनके पसीने पर, इनके खून पर पानी फिरा है।
With both BJP and Congress locked in a fierce battle, the contest remained neck and neck well into the evening, before the BJP managed to solidify its lead. No party has ever secured a hat-trick in Haryana, and BJP is setting new records with this.
Well, next on cards is party meeting and all the discussions that will be unfolding, and also the date on which the swearing-in ceremony will be decided. With camera person Ramakant, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Chandigarh.
Well, the first assembly elections in Jammu and Kashmir after 10 years and 5 years following the revoking of Article 370 has handed the region's reins to the JKNC as well as the Congress alliance. The JKNC has said that its Vice President and former Chief Minister Omar Abdullah will return to the Chief Minister's post. But the coalition partner, the Congress, despite having fared much worse in these elections compared to the one in 2014 as well, has said that the high commands of the two parties are going to decide on government formation. Here's Gautam Roy with the report.
These visuals are of the Union Territory that witnessed a smooth and fair election. People came out and voted in large numbers. This is the first assembly election in Jammu and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370. Jubilant scenes were witnessed outside the Gupkar Road residence of Jammu and Kashmir National Conference Chief Dr. Farooq Abdullah. The JKNC even declared that its Vice President and former Chief Minister Omar Abdullah will be back in the Chief Minister's chair.
Let's wait and watch till the end of the day. I'm sure by the end of the day we will have a very strong and vibrant numbers. I'm sure we'll have our numbers to form a vibrant government. Let's wait for a day or two. Let's see how things pan out.
Alliance partner Congress also celebrated the win, but said that all aspects of government formation, including the chief ministership, will be decided mutually by the high commands of the two partners.
Which candidate they decide is their prerogative, and as far as Congress is concerned, we have to interact and we have to consult our senior leaders and the central leadership about it.
The BJP has emerged as the second largest party and will hold key to restoration of statehood by virtue of being in power at the centre. It's the PDP which was the single largest party in 2014, which has fared the worst among J&K's mainstream political outfits. Its chief, Mehbooba Mufti, though seemed sanguine about the outcome.
जो हमारे पीडीपी के जो हमारे लीडर्स हैं, वर्कर्स हैं, जिन्होंने हमें बहुत मुश्किल हालात के बावजूद वोट डाला, उनकी भी बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूं और उनसे यही अपील करूंगी कि हिम्मत नहीं हारनी चाहिए, उतार चढ़ाव आते रहते हैं.
The last 10 years have seen J&K emerge out of the dark shadow of terrorism and move towards progress. Its people clearly hope the journey will be carried forward by its political representatives.
The first order of the day will now clearly be government formation, after which the focus will very quickly shift to the development needs of Jammu and Kashmir and the fact that statehood needs to be restored, for which the forthcoming dispensation will have to work closely with the centre. Needless to say, the coming days in Jammu and Kashmir will be rather interesting. With camera person Lalit Kumar, Gautam Roy, Srinagar, DD India.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday addressed party workers at the BJP headquarters in Delhi. The Prime Minister hailed the BJP's win in the Haryana Assembly polls as a victory of its politics of development and good governance, adding that the people of Haryana have done wonders. The Prime Minister also hailed the peaceful elections in Jammu and Kashmir, saying that it is a victory for the Constitution of India and democracy. Defying the exit poll predictions, the BJP is going to form the government in the northern state of Haryana for a third time. The BJP won 48 seats out of 90 assembly seats in this election in Haryana.
गीता की धरती पर सत्य की जीत हुई है. गीता की धरती पर विकास की जीत हुई है. गीता की धरती पर सुशासन की जीत हुई है. हर जाति, हर वर्ग के लोगों ने हमें वोट दिया है. साथियों, जम्मू कश्मीर में दशकों के इंतजार के बाद आखिरकार शांतिपूर्वक चुनाव हुए, वोटों की गिनती हुई, नतीजे आए. ये भारत के संविधान की जीत है, भारत के लोकतंत्र की जीत.
Well, in a grand ceremony held in New Delhi today, the 70th National Film Awards were conferred by the Honorable President of India, Draupadi Murmu. This prestigious ceremony, the awards, celebrate excellence in Indian cinema, recognizing outstanding achievements across feature films, non-feature films, as well as writing in cinema. And this report, in fact, gives us an idea of what happened.
The The 70th National Film Awards for the year 2022 were conferred in New Delhi on Tuesday by India's President Draupadi Murmu. The prestigious award celebrates outstanding achievements in Indian cinema, recognizing excellence across a wide range of categories including feature films, non-feature films and writing on cinema.
हमारी फिल्में हमारी समाज के कलाबोध को प्रदर्शित करती है। जीवन बदल रहा है, कला के प्रतिमान बदल रही है, नई आकांक्षाएं जन्म ले रही है। नई समस्याएं सामने आ रही है, नई जागरूकता भी पैदा हो रही है। इन सभी बदलावों के बीच आपसी प्रेम, करुणा और सेवा के कभी न बदलने वाले जीवन मूल्य आज भी हमारे व्यक्तिगत और सामूहिक जीवन को सार्थक बना रहे हैं।
The most prestigious award, the Dada Saheb Phalke Award, was conferred to Indian actor Milton Chakrabarti.
Being a superlative acting prowess, 5 decades of excellence, the dream of...
The award for Best Music Direction for PS1 went to A.R. Rahman.
The visionary Indian composer presents an audacious...
Celebrating this glorious achievement, legendary singer A.R. Rahman said that he is really happy to receive this award and spoke on transformational journey of Indian cinema.
Right now, everything seems to be 10x and 20x because the quality of the filmmaking has gone up. I mean, it's evolving, so it's a great time to be in.
The Best Actor Award went to Rishabh Shetty, Kantara, while the Best Actress went to Mansi Parekh and Nitya Menon. Rishabh Shetty said that this is a moment of double delight because we are getting 2 awards.
We proud of this moment. So, हमारे देश का filmmakers को national award बहुत बड़ा award है.
While Mansi Parekh said that sharing an award with Nitya is big and the film for which she is getting the award depicts diversity in cinema.
This is the year of regional cinema, and the fact that regional cinema is getting this amazing limelight because of the national awards, because for us national awards are like the Oscars.
Actors also shared their delight on India's first ever Waves Summit.
So beautifully that we actually match global standards, and I think there's no messaging really. It's just an endeavor from our end to kind of raise the bar of Indian cinema where it comes to technology and graphics, and I think but the real true hero is his brain and the vision that came from there.
Present on the occasion were Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Railways and Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, along with Union Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Sanjay Jaju, and Joint Secretary Films, Vrunda Desai. Celebrating the glorious achievement, the President of India congratulated all the winners and expressed her happiness.
Well, still to come here on DD India News Hour. World leaders begin arriving in Vientiane for the ASEAN summit in Laos PDR. Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev, they meet on the sidelines of the CIS summit in Moscow. Russian and Chinese Navy warships practice anti-submarine missions in northwestern Pacific Ocean.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Our next story is about ASEAN. And now ASEAN leaders and other partners, they are arriving in Laos PDR. This is for the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits Now, ahead of the main summit, the ASEAN foreign ministers met today in Vientiane, where Myanmar and other regional topics remain a high point of discussion.
Foreign ministers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations meet ahead of the 44th ASEAN Summit in Vientiane from 9th to 11th of October. Ahead of the summit, foreign ministers and delegates from Southeast Asian nations joined in a meeting in Vientiane on Tuesday, stressing that the region's concerted effort is much needed amid the current geopolitical climate.
Our meeting is held when the region and the world continue to face with rapidly changing and complex geopolitical and geo-economic landscape that presents both opportunity and challenges. ASEAN concerted effort is needed to respond proactively and effectively to these challenges with a view to maintaining and promoting regional and global peace, stability and prosperity, as well as to maintaining ASEAN relevance and centrality as a primary driving force in evolving regional architecture.
Permanent Secretary at the Myanmar Foreign Ministry, Ong Kor Mo, is attending the meeting as the country is set to send a representative to the regional summit for the first time in 3 years. Indonesia hosted talks on the Myanmar conflict last week involving ASEAN, the European Union and the United Nations, as well as numerous anti-junta groups. Malaysia takes over as ASEAN chair after the summit, and Foreign Minister Mohammed Hassan said Jakarta meeting showed that talks must involve all parties in Myanmar.
The takeaway is that we have to really approach everybody in Myanmar. And Myanmar also has to listen to ASEAN. They have to abide to the ASEAN Charter because it's part of ASEAN. And they are also the part of signatory of the 5-point consensus. So let's put all of it together. We want to see this so-called crisis, atrocities in Myanmar also to stop.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be travelling to Vientiane from 10th to 11th of October. During his visit, Prime Minister will participate in the 21st ASEAN-India Summit and the 19th East Asia Summit. Prime Minister Modi's visit to Laos coincides with the 10th anniversary of India's Act East policy, highlighting the significance of relations with ASEAN as a cornerstone of India's regional strategy and its Indo-Pacific vision. ASEAN-India Summit aims to evaluate the progress made in India-ASEAN relations under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership and to establish future cooperation directions. The meeting will also see participation from countries including Australia. Meanwhile, China, who is Myanmar's neighbour and key ally, also confirmed on Tuesday that Premier Li Keqiang would also attend the summit. The South China Sea will be another key topic for leaders after months of violent confrontations between Chinese and Philippine vessels in the disputed waterway. Tripti Tripathi, DD India.
Well, as tensions simmer in West Asia, Iran has threatened Israel with dire consequences in case they choose to attack the Islamic Republic. The European Union is urging de-escalation and a ceasefire, something that Hezbollah seems to support without conditions. But while these peace overtures are being made, Israel says that it has eliminated Nasrallah's successor and that Hezbollah is now headless. Well, the IDF continues to rummage through Gaza with the express intention of preventing Hamas from regrouping as well. Nupur Praveen has this report.
Unrelenting violence continues to grip West Asia as tensions escalate between Israel, Lebanon and Iran. On Tuesday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that it appears the replacement of slain Hezbollah leader Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah has been eliminated.
Hezbollah is an organization without a head. Nasrallah was eliminated. His replacement was probably also eliminated. And all the rest, Akir, Mohsin, Karaki and all those under. This thing has a dramatic effect on everything that happens. There is no one to make decisions.
The Israeli military said it was conducting limited, localized, targeted operations in Lebanon's southwest. This includes the elimination of a key Hezbollah commander in a strike near Beirut. The European Union's foreign chief, Joseph Borrell, told the European Parliament on Tuesday that a ceasefire should be achieved through a diplomatic means.
It is evident that it is very important that we achieve a ceasefire through diplomatic means. It's evident that Lebanon is grappling with a major internal political problem that needs to be solved by the Lebanese people. There is institutional weakness in Lebanon that has gone on for decades. And the elites in that country shoulder an enormous responsibility.
In a significant turn of events, Hezbollah's deputy leader expressed support for ceasefire efforts in Lebanon without hinging it on a Gaza truce deal. Meanwhile, a Qatari plane carrying food and medical aid bound for Lebanon departed from Qatar on Tuesday. Iran warned Israel on Tuesday against any attacks on the Islamic Republic, a week after Tehran fired a barrage of missiles at Israel.
The Islamic Republic of Iran does not want to increase tension and war. Although we are not afraid of war, we are fully prepared. If they want to test our will, as I said, they can.
In the Gaza Strip, Israel's military is working to prevent Hamas fighters from regrouping. Residents of Jabalia, Beit Hanun and Beit Lahia have been asked to evacuate to a humanitarian zone in southern Gaza. Bureau Report, DD India.
And in the latest from Ukraine, the Russian forces have reached the outskirts of the long-contested strategic town of Toretsk in eastern Ukraine. In an overnight attack, Russia launched 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles and 19 drones in the southern region of Odessa. The new NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has warned on Tuesday that Ukraine could be facing its toughest winter since the beginning of the conflict in February of 2022.
NATO must and will do more to help Ukraine. Russia continues to carry out massive strikes against Ukraine's critical energy infrastructure. Ukraine could be facing its toughest winter since the full-scale invasion began.
News now from Russia, and leaders of the Commonwealth of Independent States, the CIS, they gathered for an annual summit in Moscow's Kremlin on Tuesday. The Russian President Vladimir Putin, in his speech at the top of the meeting, he highlighted trade and cooperation as the key topics of the event. Earlier on Tuesday, Putin held talks with the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and the Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. The Russian President and the Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, they discussed mutual relations as well, and they met on the sidelines of the CIS summit that we just spoke about. That meeting took place right after Putin had welcomed to Moscow the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev.
Коллеги, друзья, мы очень рады вас.
We are very pleased to welcome you all in Moscow, and it seems appropriate to start with economic matters. Trade and economic relations are developing very energetically, successfully. Turnover reached $7.4 billion last year, and in the first half of this year, it increased by 2.5 times, exceeding $8.3 billion.
Достиг в прошлом году.
The Russian President Vladimir Putin and the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev, they praised mutual relations between the two countries, and they met in Moscow as well on Tuesday on the sidelines of the CIS summit.
We are very happy that we have the opportunity to exchange the information on the current works at the sidelines of the meeting of the heads of CIS countries.
I would like to use the opportunity to once again wish you a happy belated birthday. After your state visit, the dynamics of our mutual relations is rather noticeable.
The Albanian police deployed tear gas to quell a volatile opposition protest in Tirana on Monday as demonstrators clashed with authorities. The protesters, fueled by allegations of corruption, nepotism and opposition suppression, demanded Prime Minister Adi Rama's resignation. More than 1,000 police officers were deployed across Tirana as thousands of opposition supporters walked through the streets. Russian and Chinese navies have conducted joint anti-submarine drills in the northwestern Pacific. This is part of a joint patrol in the Asia-Pacific region. According to Russia's defense ministry, the drills involved warships forming tactical formations to organize anti-submarine defenses. The joint patrols follow the Interaction 2024 naval exercises in September, with both navies participating in various combat training exercises, including sea rescue missions. Russia's destroyers, Admiral Panteleyev and Admiral Tributs, and China's destroyers, Shining, Wuqi, along with frigate Lini and supply ship Taihu, were involved with these exercises. Less than 2 weeks after Hurricane Helene brought destruction in its path in the southeast of the United States, another massive hurricane is projected to barrel into western Florida. The hurricane is named Milton. It's bearing down on the Yucatan Peninsula and it tracks its way towards the west coast of Florida. The National Hurricane Center has called the storms very serious and said that Milton has the potential to be, in fact, one of the most destructive hurricanes yet. Here's a report.
Hundreds of tourists and residents were evacuated from Mexico's Holbox Island to the port of Chicala ahead of the arrival of Hurricane Milton in Yucatan Peninsula. Strong wind gusts up to 200 kilometers per hour and intense rainfall are expected on Holbox Island due to the storm. President of Mexico advised people to take the shelters where necessary.
Milton is already a Category 5 hurricane. We ask you to pay attention to the information issued by civil protection officials from the government of Mexico and Yucatan government as well. And if you live in lowlands, it is better to go to the shelters that have been already installed.
The Category 4 Hurricane Milton churning across the Gulf of Mexico and on its way to Florida, where more than 1 million people were ordered to evacuate from its path. United States National Hurricane Center projected that the storm likely to hit near the Tampa Bay. The US state of Florida set up beds for emergency workers inside a stadium ahead of the arrival of Hurricane Milton.
Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall on the west coast of Florida sometime between Wednesday evening and early Thursday morning. The storm has moved a little bit slower than initially projected. But now's the time where you have the ability to make the decisions necessary to keep yourself and your family safe. We urge you to execute your plan now. Let's prepare for the worst and let's pray that we get a weakening and hope for the least amount of damage as possible.
Milton is the season's 9th hurricane and the second Atlantic storm to reach Category 5 this season after Beryl, that hit in July this year. Meanwhile, wildfires in Bolivia have devastated over 10 million hectares this year, marking the worst fire season on record. Scientists attribute the outbreak largely to human activities exacerbated by climate change and drought conditions. South America has been hit by a series of heat waves since last year. On the other hand, rivers in the Amazon rainforest are suffering due to Brazil's worst drought since at least the 1950s. Scientists predict the Amazon region may not fully recover moisture levels until 2026. Last year, the drought became a humanitarian crisis in Brazil, as people reliant on rivers were stranded without food, water and medicine. Aman Kumar Himanshu's report for DD India.
News about the Nobel Prize and, the US scientist John Hopfield and the British-Canadian Geoffrey Hinton, they won the 2024 Nobel Prize for Physics. They did so for their discoveries and inventions that laid the foundation for machine learning. Hinton has been widely credited. He's been called the godfather of artificial intelligence and had made headlines when he quit his job at Google last year to be able to more easily speak about the dangers of the technology that he had pioneered. Hopfield, Professor Emeritus at Princeton University, created an associative memory that can store and reconstruct images and other types of patterns. The award comes with a prize money of 11 million Swedish crowns and is shared by the two winners.
The Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences has today decided to award the 2024 Nobel Prize in Physics to John Hopfield, Princeton University, USA, and Geoffrey Hinton, University of Toronto, Canada, for foundational discoveries and inventions that enable machine learning with artificial neural networks.
The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is set to visit India at the end of October. He's going to be accompanied by 8 ministers for the intergovernmental consultations. The German ambassador to India, Philipp Ackermann, described this upcoming visit as the German Maha Utsav, coinciding with the Asia-Pacific Conference of German business leaders. High-ranking CEOs will also join the delegation to explore opportunities for German businesses in India as well as for the broader Asian market.
So basically what we are going to have is a kind of a German Mahotsav, I would say, in end of October. We'll have the intergovernmental consultations where indeed the Chancellor and 7 ministers will travel, or 8, I think 8 ministers will travel to Delhi. We have at the same time the Asia-Pacific Conference of the German business, and we'll have a lot of very, very high-ranking German CEOs coming to Delhi in order to discuss German business in India and Asia. And then we have also a frigate coming with a provision ship into go. So basically, second half of October will be very, very German, and I'm very happy to receive so many different German elements, let's say military, corporate, but also government here in Delhi. India will be a fabulous host as usual. We are looking forward to it.
What's still to come here on DD India News Hour? We'll be discussing the assembly polls in Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir. India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar co-chairs the 7th India-Argentina Joint Commission meeting with his Argentinian counterpart. And the Indian Air Force celebrates its 92nd Foundation Day. Watching DD India News Hour, I'm Mark Lynn, and now let me introduce you to our guest. Chakshu Roy is from PRS Legislative, and he is joining us from New Delhi. He's an expert on politics and legislatures. Well, Mr. Roy, thanks for being with us. Now, what would you attribute the main reasons for the BJP retaining power in Haryana and defying all the odds and all those exit polls?
Mark, I think it's hard to read as to, or let me put it this way, hindsight is always 20/20. I think after an election result has come out, it is easy to give explanations as to why the result came out that way. But in the last few elections, we have seen that the predictions by experts have not come out entirely true on a couple of different occasions. But I think we should also put some credit to the astuteness of the Indian voter. In Haryana, for example, in the recently concluded general elections, the mandate was split between the Congress and the BJP. But if you look at the election results that came out today, there was a decisive mandate for the incumbent political party. Two or three things that I thought were interesting to watch out here. One was in Haryana, there were a number of political parties that changed a number of their sitting MLAs. And so there were individuals who fought as an independent, defying the party whip, and at times at loggerheads with the parties. But that did not have that much of an impact on the electoral outcomes. There was a clear-cut majority that a political party was able to get on their own. And I think that then allows for 5 years of governance and focus on governance with the ideology, with the promises that that political party had made. So that's interesting.
That's quite fascinating what you're saying. But you know, India is a multi-party system. And if you look at the Haryana contest, it seems to have been bipolar to a large extent. Is this trend likely to extend to other states as well?
I'm not sure, because of the two results that have come out today. There is one result that focuses on the fact as to the strength of two national political parties. But in the result in Jammu and Kashmir, there is some semblance of the fact that power might also have to be shared with regional players. And also, let's not forget that throughout the countries, as you rightly pointed out, Mark, that we are a multi-party democracy. There are certain states which are dominated by regional parties, and there are certain states where it is a two-party contest. So, for example, in the neighboring state of Himachal Pradesh next to Jammu and Kashmir, it has been a two-party contest for the longest time. In Haryana, it's been a two-party contest for the longest time. In Punjab, we've seen regional parties come and go, and we've seen coalitions come. So I think it's going to be interesting as to how this will play out. But I think what today shows is that there is no one formula for the country. In some cases, voters will prefer national parties, and in some cases they prefer regional parties. But what the voter has been able to do is that they've been able to say that they'll be able to distinguish between what their regional concerns are, what their state concerns are, versus what their national issues are, as to how they vote differently in a general election versus a state election.
Mr. Roy, also in Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah has won 2 seats, and he's also the front runner for the Chief Minister's post. But just a few months ago, he had lost the Lok Sabha elections. So, what are the reasons for this sudden, quick turnaround of his fortunes?
I think, so 2 interesting aspects. One is, till about the middle of 1990s, members could contest elections from as many seats as possible. And then the law, the People's Representation Act was changed and said that, oh, you know what, we can't have members contesting for so many different seats, so let's limit it to 2 seats. Now, how have voters shifted or decided that as to how will they vote in a national election and general election is something that we've already talked about. But could it also be the fact that the campaign for a national election was more broad-based, and for a state election was very pointed and focused on issues that, for example, in Jammu and Kashmir, the legislature that will now be formed after the application of Article 370 in 2019, the will have to have a focus on governance issues like health, education, issues like law and order will be out of its view. But important things, water, employment, some of those things, the state legislature will have to focus on for the next 5 years. And has been the case that the voter has said, oh, you know what, these are issues that I really resonate with, and I would want to see a political party or a coalition which will focus on some of these issues.
Mr. Roy, the BJP has won 29 seats in Jammu and Kashmir. And do you see it making, serious inroads into the entire state, I mean, not just the Jammu region, I mean, the entire Union territory over a period of time?
Mark, I think somebody a long time ago said that there's nothing straight in Jammu and Kashmir other than the poplar trees. So politics is the art of the possible. We've seen political parties make inroads where political pundits said that they will receive no traction. And we've also seen political parties that have a lot of traction in the state and have been in the state for the longest time possible, come short at the ballot box. So I think it'll time tell. But for me, the key takeaway from the two elections today is that elections are vibrant. People still have faith in the electoral process. Unlike many other mature democracies where people question the outcome of an electoral contest, that doesn't seem to be the case in India. And especially for Jammu and Kashmir, where elections are happening after a very long time, the significance will not only be for the state, for the formation of the state legislature there, but also for the fact that Jammu and Kashmir since 2019 hasn't had representation in Rajya Sabha. So with a new legislature coming in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the newly elected MLAs will now be able to send 4 Rajya Sabha MPs to represent their Union Territory at the national level and have their voices raised in Delhi. So I think that's another interesting development and something that I think all of us as a country have been looking forward to.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Chaksur Roy, for throwing light on these two elections and how they impact India as a whole. Thanks for being with us. India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, met the Argentinian Foreign Minister, Diana Modino, in New Delhi on Tuesday. Modino co-chaired the 7th India-Argentina Joint Commission meeting with Jaishankar. Argentina's Foreign Minister is on a 5-day visit to India to boost bilateral trade. Jaishankar highlighted the 75 years of India-Argentina bilateral relations.
We are very pleased with your participation at the Voice of the Global South Summit. It's something we appreciate very much. And we've also marked 75 years of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. I think economically, trade's been good. We've had a minor dip, but we hope to get it back to the levels which we had earlier.
Okay.
But today we do the meeting of our Joint Commission, and I think we look across a very wide range of domains.
The Indian Air Force celebrated its 92nd anniversary with a grand event in Chennai. The parade featured a showcase of indigenously developed aircraft and weapon systems. More on this report.
The Indian Air Force celebrated its 92nd anniversary today with a grand ceremony at Tambaram Air Force Station, marking nearly a century of exceptional service to the nation. The Indian Air Force, officially established on October 8, 1932, commemorated the day with a parade showcasing its power, precision and professionalism. Chief of Defence Staff Sunil Chauhan was the chief guest, with Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh serving as a reviewing officer.
Atmanirbharta in the field of defence R&D and manufacturing is our priority, and concrete steps have been taken to support Make in India initiatives by engaging MSMEs, startups, individual innovators, professionals, R&D institutes and academia.
The event featured aerial displays by the Surya Kiran and Sarang aerobatic teams, along with the magnificent performance by the indigenous Tejas fighter jet, leaving the audience in awe of the Indian Air Force's air power. A static display showcased cutting-edge equipment such as the ALK Mk4, C-295 transport aircraft, Akash missile defense system, HT-40 and Rohini radar, demonstrating the Indian Air Force's technological advancement. The celebration embodied the theme of Bharatiya Vayu Sena, Saksham, Sashakt, Atmanirbhar, serving as a tribute to the Indian Air Force's long-standing legacy of unwavering dedication and unparalleled service to the nation.
President Draupadi Murmu congratulated the Indian Air Force personnel, the veterans as well as their families on the 92nd Air Force Day. She emphasized the importance of the force in safeguarding India during disasters and humanitarian crises. The President also praised how the Indian Air Force has maintained the highest standards of excellence. Conveying her greetings, she also thanked their efforts towards the nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his wishes as well to the Indian Air Force warriors. He shared a video as well on his social media handle, highlighting the courage and professionalism of the forces. The Prime Minister hailed their role in protecting the nation.
नए भारत का आह्वान है।
आसमान की बातें तो निराली होती ही है, इसमें कोई आश्चर्य नहीं कि आसमान में अपनी शक्ति का परिचय देकर के भारतीय वायुसेना ने हर देशवासी का ध्यान अपनी ओर खींचा, हमें सुरक्षा का एहसास दिलाया है। 8 अक्टूबर को हम वायुसेना दिवस मनाते हैं। 1932 में 6 पायलट और 19 वायु सैनिकों के साथ एक छोटी सी शुरुआत से बढ़ते हुए हमारी वायुसेना आज 21वीं सदी की सबसे साहसिक और शक्तिशाली एयरफोर्स में शामिल हो चुकी है।
हमारे पायलट आज भारत में बने तेजस लड़ाकू विमान, एडवांस लाइट हेलीकॉप्टर, लाइट कॉम्बैट हेलीकॉप्टर उड़ा रहे हैं। यही तो भारत शक्ति है। अब 5th जनरेशन लड़ाकू विमान भी हम भारत में ही डिजाइन, डेवलप और मैन्युफैक्चर करने वाले। रक्षा जरूरतों में आत्मनिर्भर होता भारत सेनाओं में आत्मविश्वास की भी गारंटी है।
देश के लिए अपनी सेवा देने वाले सभी एयर वॉरियर्स
ट्रांसलेशन होना चाहिए, अंग्रेजी चैनल है।
मेरे साथ बोलिए, भारत माता की।
Well, on the occasion of the 92nd anniversary of the Indian Air Force, a 4,300-kilometer mega car rally was flagged off from the Toise military air base in Ladakh. The rally is to culminate at Tawang Air Force Station in Arunachal Pradesh on October 29. The Vayu Veer Vijeta car rally, it was flagged off by the Minister of State for Road Transport and Highways, Harsh Malhotra, alongside the West Delhi member of the Lok Sabha, Kamaljeet Sherawat. And in fact, this rally, it aims to raise awareness about the Indian Air Force's rich history, its rescue missions and the valor of the Indian Air Force, the warriors to inspire youth and serve the nation. The IAF personnel, 52 of them, including women, and they are participating in this event. And this event is going to feature former Air Force chiefs as well, joining at different legs. India's Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari launched the Humsafar policy to enhance convenience of travelling on the national highways. The Humsafar policy will benefit commuters by enabling access to standardized, well-maintained and hygienic facilities. The World Health Organization has declared India as eliminated trachoma, which is a bacterial eye infection, as a public health problem in 2024. India has become the 3rd country in Southeast Asia region to achieve this milestone, joining Nepal and Myanmar through trachoma. In fact, trachoma is preventable, but blindness from trachoma is extremely difficult to reverse. Trachoma continues to be a public health problem in 39 countries and is responsible for blindness of about 1.9 million people. China imposed temporary anti-dumping measures on imports of brandy from the European Union on Tuesday, hitting French brands including Hennessy and Remy Martin, days after the 27-state bloc voted for tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles. China's Commerce Ministry has said that the preliminary findings of an investigation had determined that dumping of brandy from the European Union threatened substantial damage to its own sector. France's Trade Ministry said temporary Chinese measures were incomprehensible and violated free trade, and that it would work with the European Commission to challenge the move of the World Trade Organization. In a sign of rising trade tensions, China's ministry added that an ongoing anti-dumping and anti-subsidy investigation into the EU pork products would also be done. The world's largest contract electronics manufacturer, Foxconn, is building in Mexico the world's largest manufacturing facility for bundling NVIDIA's GB200 superchips. Foxconn has been benefiting from the artificial intelligence boom and it assembles servers used to process AI work. Foxconn already has a large manufacturing presence in Mexico and has invested more than $500 million to date. Let's get you some sports news now. And the legendary Spanish footballer Andres Iniesta has retired at the age of 40. The 2010 World Cup winner hanged up his boots on the 8th of October. He hung his boots on the 8th of October, which is a date chosen as a nod to the number 8 shirt that he had been donning throughout his career, which spanned 22 years.
Legendary Spanish footballer and Barcelona midfielder Andres Iniesta announced his retirement from professional football on October 7, putting an end to his more than 2-decade-long career. The Spaniard confirmed the news on social media after hinting at the decision last week, saying, "Coming soon, 8-10-24. He wore the numbers 8 and 24 during his 18-year tenure with the Spanish club. Iniesta was equally lethal for the Spanish national team, as he was one of the pillars of a historic La Roja side that is dubbed as the country's golden generation. Iniesta scored a goal in extra time of the 2010 World Cup final against Netherlands, which led Spain to their first and only FIFA World Cup trophy. Lionel Messi paid tribute to his former teammate, saying, "One of the teammates with the most magic and of the ones I enjoyed playing together the most. Andres Iniesta, the ball will miss you, and so will we. I wish you the best, always. You are a phenomenon." Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola, who coached Iniesta at Barcelona, said, "He is another part of history of Barca. The last 15 or 20 years would not have been possible without him. I just want to say thank you, because he helped me to understand the game better. It was a pleasure. I learned a lot just being with him." Atletico Madrid striker Fernando Torres, who won the World Cup and 2 European Championships alongside Iniesta, tweeted, "How many wonderful moments we have lived together." In an illustrious club career, Iniesta has made 674 appearances for Barcelona, in which he scored 57 goals and provided 135 assists, during which he won 4 Champions Leagues, 3 FIFA World Cup, 9 league titles, 3 European Super Cups, 6 Copa del Reys and 7 Spanish Super Cups. With Spain, apart from FIFA World Cup title in 2010, he won the European Championships in 2008 and 2012. At the junior level, Iniesta has won Euro Under-16 Championships and Euro Under-19 Championships with Spain. After ending his Barcelona career in 2018, he joined the Japanese club Vissel Kobe. Iniesta won the Emperor's Cup, Japanese Super Cup and the J1 League with Vissel Kobe. Sports Desk, DD India.
Fascinating. Always remember that goal that he scored in the final of the 2010 World Cup, which made Spain the winner. Now, India will be celebrating Durga Puja from Wednesday, for which the preparations are underway in various cities of northeastern state of Assam's Guwahati, where elaborate pandals and intricate idols are being crafted. Pandals showcasing intricate designs, both modern and mythological, became the centerpiece of each neighborhood. These structures are more than just temporary shrines. They are artistic representations of the city's rich heritage. And it is the blend of devotion, artistry and community involvement that makes Durga Puja a special event in Guwahati.
This year's theme for the Puja committee is Indraprasth from the Mahabharata. My father and I are building the pandal, which is a replica of the palace of Indraprasth. The palace is quite large, and during our research, we uncovered its immense significance.
Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. But let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. From all of us here at DD India, thanks very much for watching. Namaskar. Have a good